Hello, hi, good afternoon. My name is Mzedarotondwa. Thanks for coming back again to my channel. Some of you, we have been together for the previous 2 years on level 2, level 3. Now we are on level 4. Dealing with CP, computer programming. Now, the theory part of computer programming. And again, congratulations for making it this far, and it's possible again to also pass this one. Now in CP, there are a few things that I would like you to understand that they repeat from PCP, principle of computer programming. And to make it easy for you to understand them, you will need to go back, revisit them, and jog your memory before you come to the new concept of CP. Now, the things that you did on PCP that repeats on CP are the public functions. So public functions that you did last year, they also come back again on CP. All right. You will be asked to create a public function. Sometimes there will be 2, 3, 4 public functions depending on the calculations that you are to do. And remember that the numbers of public functions, mostly they match the number of the output. So you should check the IPO chart. Okay. And also bear in mind that the sub procedure do not return value while the public function does. Okay. They do ask this in theory part, paper 1. So in CP paper 1 you will be asked that one, but I'll also explain it during the practical part. Ne? So another thing that you did on PCP that is gonna come back again here on CP is the data validation. Data validation is coming back again. They love putting it always on both question 1 and also question 2, on theory part and also on practical part. They always bring it. They love it a lot on CP. So you remember there data validations that I taught you last year on PCP. Data validation, like the one that you are to validate if it's numeric. You remember, if you use that code that says if it's numeric, in brackets you put the text box name that you want to validate, and you do the dot text. And remember, that other one that I told you, if text box has got nothing, you remember it, if nothing, and then you in brackets the name of the text box. So those are the data validations when there is number inserted inside the text box of which it was supposed to carry maybe the words, and then you validate. And the other one, if the text box it's empty, you also validate. So remember that validations, data validation, always go together with the processing. And if you remember, when you do the processing, that's the part that you do integer dot try pace. The processing of ISD, it's different with the processing of PCP and of CP as well. So here we deal with integer dot try pace. And then when you're done from there, another thing that carries from PCP to CP is the pop-up message, and also the focus, and also clearing of the button. They also come to CP, so expect them. Another thing that you learn from PCP that are to come here on CP is if statement, else if statement, and else statement. They are to come back again, so do revisit them. And normally, if the statement is for radio button, we know it's a hint that we can only click one radio button at a time. That means we're gonna use if, else if, or else to check the we're gonna use if statement for a radio button, only if statement for radio button, because only one radio button can be selected at a time. But when we come to checkbox, we will use all those three: if statement, else if statement, else statement, because they can be selected more than one at a time. So let me check also another notes that I made for you. We have got the issue of combo box also do come back again, so you don't think when you have done it on PCP it won't come on CP. No, it's coming again, excuse me. But they do not always bring it. I checked on the previous question papers, but last year it was there on the final question paper. It was there, year 2022, it was there. So do revisit, you never know when they're gonna bring it again. The combo box is that one that we use the select case, you remember case 1, case 0, from case 0, case 1, yeah. And also 2D arrays, yeah, 2-dimension array. They sometimes bring it on CP, but not always, but they do. And it has not been coming for many years, but it do come, so just study it for your own sake. And also on paper 1 they bring it in theory part and ask it, so you'll need to also understand it. Now NB, important information, as I finish about what used to come last year and what comes this year. Now in PCP we deal with OOP, object oriented programming. We code under 2 place, in button and also on form load or form 1. But in CP we do not deal with OOP, we deal with POP, and we code also in 2 place, under the button and also under the class. So it's no longer under the button and under the form load, it's the button and the class. In CP we create a class, and I'll cover it in practical, don't worry. Now POP is for procedure oriented programming, and the OOP is the one that you already know, object oriented programming, right? So this year we are to deal with POP, procedure oriented programming. Now in POP, procedure oriented programming, when we code we use what we call it smaller blocks. We use smaller blocks that are functions. But in OOP we use smaller parts and not smaller blocks, smaller parts, and they are called objects, if you can remember. Now in POP it's not easy to hide the data like we do on OOP. And another thing, the procedure are important than the data. When we speak of POP, the procedure are the most important this side, whilst on the other side of OOP the data is more important than the procedure, right, or method. Now POP can not implement inheritance, while OOP can implement the inheritance. Now, now, I think it's time that we get to the new concept of